So we start here, and I just say a few words. You have the map, you have all got, is it possible for you, have you got, so you see the, you got one with a PowerPoint and then you got a working sheet? Yeah, and as far as for this, it's just good if you have the working sheet. So I'll give a very, very short background. I started saying that I was working in the Gestalt Academy in Scandinavia, Sweden, Denmark, with training, and I had primarily the last years, the 3 and 4th year, where you train the therapist role. The 2 years are more being with yourself. And part of the training was that the student gave therapy to people outside. That was on my way saying normal people, ordinary clients. And what we found out in the 70s and the 80s and the start of the 90s, it was okay. But then we found out that in the late 90s, it started to become more and more difficult clients, not only OCD, all different kinds of diagnoses that are used in the traditional way of diagnosing. And many of them were in the psychiatric field. And they came because it was cheaper with student therapy. And they need it. And Gestalt can absolutely be used with people in a very, very hard life conditions. Only you have to be trained, and you have as a therapist to be able to have very little response from your client. So you have to be able to self-support and know how to meet. So I wanted to find a way, how can we very fast find out or have a sense, is this client too difficult for me when I'm new in this field? And when we are new, we want to practice, and to be able to practice, we have to be with someone who can go along. Like in this case, to go along with a suggestion to experiment, or at least have some awareness or some willingness to see who am I, what's going on with me, where's you, etc. So I wanted to find out in the first sessions, and so the student could speak with a supervisor, what was their impression from the first session. And some of the students, they were called students, but some of them were very experienced and were working already in the psychiatric field of psychiatric institutions. So they could, of course, take very different kinds of clients than those who came from another profession and had also to get used to be a therapist, to be in the role of the therapist. So this is where I invented this, where you're having the working sheet. And I think I will share so we can talk about it in a different way. Here. So, what happened now? That was wrong. I do it once more. And I take, no, I don't know. I'm doing something wrong now. I'm getting to the same. So we wait. You look at your, if you take your sheet and you just fold it so you see this 4. So what I did was I made a kind of summarizing, simplifying, that the field, as you know, is organizing and reorganizing all the time. So I made it in these 4 fields. Of course, there are many variations, but a chaotic, a polarized, a flexible, and an integrated field. So these are the 4s that we are working with. And we go for how do I, as a therapist, sense what's going on between us? I am the background of the client, but the client is the background of me. So it's all, how do I sense? Do I become a bit chaotic, or do I feel I really have to take care of? Or do I feel I can be myself? I can share what's going on with me? Or do I feel that, oh, if I tell what's going on with me, the client may feel embarrassed or feel criticized or shame? You recognize? Yeah. So this was meant to be a kind of a guidance that, of course, we cannot be the same with different kinds of clients. And in a process, even in a session, the client can change from being very black-white when they start and talk about something. And in the relation and in the talk during the session, they can become more open, and both and some one of you talked about. So the idea is that you see where are you, or you sense where are you when you start. And then if you take, for example, the flexible field, the light green, you take here, and then you go to the third, where it says role in the bottom. And then if you look at the flexible field, if you look just up on top, it said, then consider. So if the field is flexible, then consider that you in the role can be exploring, reflecting, and experimenting. Can you see? I think it's easier we do it this way. I don't know what happened with my...
Why don't you try once more instead of doing it right? Give you time, only a little to maybe you can do it. Try to do
Okay,
it
I
again.
try
Yeah.
another time.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I know. Okay. So start. It just wants us to see this. I don't understand. I do what I usually do.
Yeah, but try once more.
Okay. I do as my husband says. And now it should be, you see this now? Do you see my PowerPoint?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Then instead of trying to make it big, I stayed with this. And
Next picture. Roll one down.
no, I shouldn't roll one down. I start with this.
Okay, good.
You should see this big now. No, I don't know why this comes. It's something, of course, I do wrong. I wish I could blame the computer. And make one try more, because there are some things I want to show you.
But Judith, can you try to move it even when it shows the Gestalt prayer? Can you try moving it left and right? Even if it shows you the Gestalt prayer? Just to get to the slide you want?
No, this I cannot in this where I have it this way. And I don't know, I haven't experienced this before. It should be, or maybe I do it another way then. I try, this is the last time. So no. Absolute last.
I feel okay with the small one too. Not the presentation, but
yeah. Can you see now?
Yeah, who wants to be a barcode?
Yeah. So it's not as I wanted. I wanted to have the full, but I think if you can see this, we would save time. And then I have to see later on what I did wrong. I wish I could blame the computer, but I'm quite aware it's something I do wrong. Okay. So who wants to be a barcode? That was our England. We don't want to have a diagnosis. We don't want to be diagnosed. We don't want to diagnose others. But yet, as you said, in all this freedom, we also need some kind of system. And we always make some kind of view or judging or summarizing every day in our life. There are a lot of moments we have to see, what am I doing now? Do I want to get into the bus or in the taxi with this taxi driver or in an elevator? We always do some kind of, we don't call it diagnosing, but we call it just summarizing or evaluating. So this was just to show. And this is the basis that I made this for, to make it convenient, because when you sit, even the first moment, the first session, you can sense chaotic. You will sense immediately if that's very chaotic, or if you yourself become chaotic. It can be there is something in the client's radiation that makes you chaotic. And then it's probably not a good idea that you work with a client where you yourself react so strongly. We will not work so much with this because usually if someone is in chaos, the immediate spontaneous reaction for most people is to take care and to be there or to withdraw. So this is not difficult, but what is really difficult, it's the polarized field where people are either white or black. And the line here in between is to show that when you are here, you don't know about this, you have forgotten. Or when you are here and you talk about your husband or your school teacher or your leader you have now, and you talk all the wrong things and all the difficult things, and the therapist maybe say, but in the start of the session, you said you had a good leader. Some people will just get out of the room and don't come back and feel you are terrible because they cannot cope with have both at the same time. So this is the field we will use a lot of time on because this is the very difficult field. You have to really tiptoe. And when you are in this field, you usually also feel that you are in a minefield or a sense of that you can do something wrong very easily. I will not say more, but this is just the characteristics. So here you have a lot of figures or none. Here you have just one figure. Either it's white or it's black. And the difficulty here is that you cannot have both. It's a way of staying safe as you can. That's why people are very, what you call it, steadfast and sometimes very dominant. This is right and this is wrong. And if you don't go along with me, you are wrong. And this you will also see in the scheme. And in the flexible field, this is actually the very model for our Gestalt work. You see the faces and the vase, which indicates that we can hold at least two. Do we see? I can see the vase or I can see the faces. But if people are here and you show them this, they can come up and quarrel with each other or within a group and insist it's a face. Don't you see two faces? No, it's a vase. And it can become a great, great quarreling and confrontation because it's very challenging when you are here. So here, when you are here, it means that you can hold what you self, in this case, see, but you can also stay open to the other one and maybe say, what do you see? A vase? I just see faces. Show me, or I have to try once more. So this is where the ordinary or the Gestalt grew from the start. It was actually here in this field where people were capable of taking responsibility or contact or change figure ground. But this doesn't mean that we can just work with people who are in this field. And this is what we will talk about. What do we do when people are here? But I won't go into it much more now. This is what we will use time. Now I'm doing the overview. And the integrated field, I would say already from the start with you that you are a lot. We started together in the integrated field. When I asked what you like about Gestalt and all your different answers showed that you are here. Does that make sense to you? Yeah, you could see the huge arena which Gestalt holds. It holds, in a way, a lot of opposites, a lot of polarities, and that's why I have the yin-yang, that there are double polarities. So in this field, you can hold polarities. I am strong, I'm weak, I want to dominate, I want to be dominated, I want to lead, I want to be led. A lot of different. And you know that they are all, some are more clear for you, some are not. All the work you've probably done with polarities, when you can be both and, then you are here. I call it that in the integrated field, you have dilemma capacity. You can hold that sometimes things cannot be solved. A problem cannot be solved. Like it can be in a very serious illness. I'm not talking just about corona, but it can also be in a divorce. It talks a lot about a lucky divorce. And of course, a divorce can be more or less painful, but there are always a price for divorce, particularly if children are involved. And some people cannot accept that. I had a couple who had been talking about divorce for 10 years because they couldn't agree on how to divorce. So they were more down here. And then through the therapy, they made a short separation, and they found out that they wanted to live together, but from a very different position. They were more up here where they couldn't see each other. So dilemma capacity demands a lot of energy in our body, stability, and that we can hold a lot of contradictions. Otherwise, we want a right or wrong answer, or we want at least to solve the problem, which would be much more here. We solve the problem, we can see a couple of perspectives, and it's easier. But there will be things we cannot accept. So this usually, to be in an integrated field and have dilemma capacity, usually takes a lot of personal work. For some people, for most people, you have to go in some kind of therapy. Some people, life itself is therapy, as it of course is. So I don't say you have to go to therapy to be able to be here, but it certainly helps. So the idea is, now what happens? Here. The idea is you sit with the client, and we will work a lot more with this, of course. This is just an introduction, so you have a kind of overview. Okay. So like we're changing figure ground, so we are more to have an overview of the background. So the idea is you sit here like I do now with you. I feel that as a group, as an organism together, we are here. And this I do based on the way you answered in what you like about Gestalt, and the way you also answered when I spoke about the Zoom suggestions. So I see we are here. I know that at times you can come here like myself, but right now we are here. So I just show, okay, we are here. So then we go to the right, to the role, and see, what do we do in the role? In the flexible role, as I said, exploring, reflecting, experimenting. This is the traditional or the core Gestalt. And if we have someone who hasn't had that much life experience and therapy like you have, they may be very stuck. And then you see it from their language. They will speak in black and white.
Judith, could you please make it underneath you can make the picture bigger so it's easier to see it? There's a line under, put it, I'm sure you could do it,
No, I cannot when it's in the PowerPoint.
Aha, okay, sorry.
I'm sorry, but you have this on your sheet yourself. So this is just to support. I don't know, this has never happened to me before, but I say this happens now. I don't know why. So, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the idea, which we come back to all the time, where are I, in which field are we right now? This may change during the time. And then you go here and you have some guidance how to be in the role. And notice it's a huge difference. Like in the chaotic, there is just carrying, containing, and holding. Most people wouldn't dream or talk about what was your own responsibility here. You don't ask that to a person who is in a chaotic state, and it comes quite natural. But here, now let's say it in a different way. I suppose you have all experienced that you have done an intervention which you felt was really good, and then you said it, and then you are very surprised that it didn't work. Yeah? I see you are laughing. I just see 4 people, but I see these people laughing. Now I like to see, yeah. Yeah, I think most of you have, more or less. And sometimes you are really astonished. Why didn't it work? It was such a good, and I picked up this and this and this. And you're right, it was probably very good intervention. But why didn't it work? Usually it is, you did an intervention that suited here, but your client and the group was here. They were not so flexible to have something new. They were not willing to explore. Even if you just suggested maybe look at me or how did my voice sound, whatever, they were not willing. And here you have to intervene in a different way. So most interventions that go wrong are because you address if they were here and they are actually here.
Couldn't you supply the here with when you are here in the flexible, it is another thing than you are in the polarized field. That makes it much more clear.
Yeah, okay, so when you are here, you can almost do, you can do a lot, and you can do a lot of wrong things because people pick up and they say, what do you mean? Or I don't agree, or this isn't, how do you, please explain? Or you can say yourself, oh, I didn't say it in a good way. So this is not so much, of course, you have to be aware in the flexible field, but you can always repair and say, oh, sorry, I was wrong, or I realize I can say it in a better way. But if you are here in a field where people are very much right and wrong, never or always, then your client or group may say, oh, you always explain so bad. And then they get stuck in that energy and they are not willing for you to repair, even if you may say, oh, I'm sorry, I can do it in another way. And they are maybe stuck. Does this make sense to you? Yeah. So this is what we will work with to find out which field am I in these 4 fields from chaotic to integrated, and then go to the right, find the role, what is the guideline? And to learn to discriminate between the flexible and the polarized field. And then we go a bit further on. So we take the flexible field and we can see here that there is the awareness, which is growing from the chaotic, and which we go to the integrated, there's much more awareness. And this you know, of course. If we go to regulation and self-support, which is the body mostly. Very little here, not much in the polarized field. And again, as you get more, can hold more polarities, more of reality, you could say, you can also regulate yourself and have more self-support. And here I have written ask for help, and that is, it's very unfair in a way, the way life is designed, because here in the bottom, in the chaotic, in the polarized field, the capacity to ask for help is not so big. But here, in the flexible and the integrated, there is the capacity to ask for help when you, in your way, need it less. but it takes some standing on your own feet to be able to ask for help. And you probably know it from yourself. It may feel very humiliating, or it may feel that you have learned early that you get punished if you ask for help, or you get abandoned, or you get ashamed. Many people, many of us have issues around asking for help, or you just want to be strong. You don't want to show that you need help. There are many issues. So this shows the capacity. And here in the relation, and this is the last gate we will talk about now. In the chaotic field, there is no really discrimination. When you are chaotic, you don't really sense the other one, so it's more about we. Here, when we are in the polarized field, people are divided in black and white, and that's why there is not so good sense of the body, because when you are on the black part, you are very constricted. So here it's really good. That's why here it says you can at first number 1, the fields, and then you can see the role, or you can go, I have written number 3 here, but you can also go from the field to here. How do I relate? How do the client relate? In the polarized field, when the client or you yourself are in the polarized field, there is a great memory key that is, do I experience the other one as with me or against me? And it can be with words, or the way they look at me, or the way they address me. And this can go very quickly. And you can even ask your client, if you have a sense that they are into a polarized field, you can ask them, do you sense I'm with you, or do you feel I'm against you? Or you can ask yourself. Because if you see in your interaction that the client doesn't really receive what you give, it might be because they feel that what you say are against them. And you may be very compassionate and very understanding, only they cannot receive it. So it doesn't say that you are wrong, it says that they don't receive. And if people are very wounded from life, they can take very little of being with. So they will, from their life history, automatically receive you as against. So this is a very valuable key in working with other people, to have this in mind, and even at times to ask people. And if they say, you are against me, of course. And then you can say, how? How do you notice that? What is it that I do or say? Or you could even ask them, what can I do so you can sense that I'm with you? And many people would be able to answer you. And then it's up to you if you are willing to follow. It's like direct supervision. Okay, so I stop sharing here. And just a couple of words, then we will go into an experiment, so you have it in your body. But I would appreciate to just hear a few words, how this seems to you, what you pick up.
It was
To be
very
honest, I
clear.
felt a bit chaotic.
I didn't hear.
I started and I interrupted Rinka. Sorry, Rinka. I felt a bit chaotic, like I see what you're talking about, I can feel it, but I had it like a bit of here, a bit of this, a bit of that, and I will need more time to get it like structured more in me.
I can imagine. It makes sense to me. Thank you for sharing that. And that's why I will do the experiment very soon, so you get it inside. Thank you.
For me, it was very clear, very structured. Um, I feel like someone is putting in words things that I observe, but in a very nice structure. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So we see already here, all is right, because depending where we are and what's going on, we perceive differently. Thank you for sharing. It's nice to have the big polarity, big difference. Someone else?
Yes, me.
Yes, Lilia.
Me, like Irina, I found it clear and happy to explain to myself also the process and the relation between me and the client and in the field. And now I'm when you were explaining, I was mainly in the polarized field because this is my question from the very first time. And I'm just thinking and rethinking and backing memory to myself with these clients that I have about this polarized field. That just generating questions.
Yeah, sure, good. So one more. If there is someone else who has something new to add. So we see the variety. Yeah, Daniela.
Okay.
Hmm?
Yeah, okay. I can also confirm everything what you explained that I experienced it with the clients, and I had the observation about me that I never heard from clients that I'm against them. And I'm wondering if this is okay because I'm always supporting them.
Yeah, but I think you will find out. I don't say, I never hear from clients that I'm against them if I don't ask them.
Okay. It's a good point. Thank you.
You do, but I don't work. I know colleagues who work not only at institutions, but who have a different kind. If you are very narcissistic, wounded, who will probably say you don't understand a shit, or either they don't come back after the first time. So I will stress, good you brought it forward. People usually don't say because they don't feel that you're against them. They just feel that something is wrong and they try to tell you and you try to find out. So usually you have to ask them, or you have to ask them even more. Do you feel I support you? Do you feel I understand you? Or do you feel I'm missing something? Etc.
Okay, thank you.
Because what is support for someone is the opposite for someone else.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know that already, of course. Okay. Okay, so I think this will be enough because I'm really eager that we make the experiment and that we have some time afterwards to share. Is that okay with you? Yeah. So this is a guidance. I will guide you. So you just sit comfortable and close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. And then in your mind's eye, just go back in your memory to a day. It can be very close in time or it can be far away. It was a real good day. You woke up, it was nice weather as you looked outside. Maybe you even could have some clothes that you really like, but it's depending on the weather and it suited. You had a nice breakfast. When you came to work, there was a nice atmosphere and something that had been very difficult worked out well and you had very good feedback and appreciation, either from the people you work with or from the clients. Like, you did a real good work. I could really use this. And maybe there was something difficult that you met during your day, but you were in a good mood and you found a way through. So after some time, you could have a sense, oh, this was maybe on my edge, but I did it. It was a challenge, but I managed. And maybe you even feel proud of yourself. And as the day comes to its closure on your working day and you're on your way home, it's also a nice journey home. Either you go with a public transportation, it's on time, and it works well, or you go by your car, there's not a very long queue, or maybe none at all. So there is a nice ride home. And when you arrive home, if you live with other people, what happens is you open the door and you haven't even come into the entrance. Someone is really shouting loud out, where is this and that? Or have you remembered? And just notice here, how do you see yourself react? After this good day, you come home and someone is already wanting something from you. So just stay with this. Notice how you react, how you see yourself in your mind's eye. How do you respond? Do you respond at all? How is your voice if you do respond? How do you experience the other? And I can use these words I used just before. Do you experience the other as with you or against you or somewhere in between? And how do you experience yourself? How do you feel being in the reaction that you just imagined, came to your mind? So just take a few memory notes from this, because now comes soon another. So just change position in the seat, so you just also bodily experience that there is a change, that you leave this sunny day. And now you go into another day, which starts very differently. Gray maybe, or at least some weather you don't appreciate that much. And the first thing that happens when you do your breakfast or serve for others is that you drop the milk packet, milk all over the floor, or maybe it's the butter, but it's all over the floor. Maybe something else that is even more on different pieces. So that's the start of your day. And then you think, okay, I will have my nice cup of tea or my nice cup of coffee, and you pour it out. And as you start to drink, you realize you didn't put on the heaters, so it's cold, it's not hot. So you look at the watch, there's not much time, you cannot have really another cup, and you think, okay, I can have it when I come to work. And so the day is really not like the sunny day. It's not so easy to come to your work. If it's a public transportation, it's delayed, or if you go by car, there are long queues, rushing hours, maybe more than usual. You come to your work, and it seems like even if you are prepared and you know what to do, it doesn't really work. And you may be with other people, and you may even, could be a situation similar to, like if you present something that you have done with other people and you have done a lot of the work, and then someone really pay attention and appreciate someone else who just did minor work. You did the full work, and the other one who gets the credit did not very much. So how is this for you, to sit there and know that you did so much, and the one who gets the credit didn't really bring in you? and say, oh, she really did a thing. That's why I could do my thing. So there you sit knowing this. And that's it. And then maybe you think, oh, it will be nice. I'm coming home. This day is not really my day. And on your way home, again, some troubles with coming home. It's not really smoothie. But then finally you are at your door. And then when you open the door, again, you hear this. If you live with someone, you hear, have you remembered? Or where are? I cannot find. And if you don't live with someone, you may open your mails, or there may be a note from someone, or your telephone answering machine saying the same questions. So how do you respond this day, in this moment? Maybe you get numb, maybe you say nothing, but if you do, how is your voice? What are your words? How do you look if you could see yourself? How do you perceive the other one? Do you want to be with them, or do you just want to be with yourself? And if you just see it's some more digital, how is it? Even if people are not present, you can feel that you don't want to be with them, or that you just want to be by yourself. Maybe you say, oh, I shouldn't have opened my mail, or I shouldn't have listened to my answering machine. So just notice, as a wrap up, notice the sense in yourself. Maybe it's the same as the first one. Maybe there is a difference. If there is a difference, what is the difference? And how you react and how you see the other one. Take a couple of minutes, and maybe you even take some notes. And as you sit here taking notes, either writing them or just by sensing, just notice how are you now when you have these two different days? How are you influenced? So let's stay with this, because when we continue, we will look at the difference. If there is a difference, and if not. And when you feel ready to continue, look up or come a bit closer. So now I ask you to come a bit closer in the screen so we can see. Okay, now you can go back, because now I see it's just a couple. Yeah, so we give some space more. Okay, so let's hear. We will not go through all of you, because we will see highlight. So let's hear of your experience of these days. Were there any differences? How many felt that there were different reaction on these two? And how many felt that there was the same? Mm-hmm. And are there anyone who felt it was felt more familiar with a gray day than with a sunny day? Okay. Yeah. So now let's see, let's put some words to it.
In the first situation, the sunny day, when I came home, I felt ready to help. I felt, yes, caring and ready to be there for my partner. And in the second situation, it was the opposite. I needed to be alone, and it was very different.
It was very, yes, I stay with this, because when you felt it's okay that he came the sun, I call it a sunny day, but it's just a good day. And it's not really the day that is good, it's that you inside have energy.
Yes.
Or you have more energy than you need, you are in abundance. Yeah, so it's important, this step. It's not really the day, it's in the guidance, I call it a sunny day.
Yes, sure. I use
but the importance is really that you are more in an abundance or overflow, and then you can maybe even smile and maybe say, oh, that's typical you, I'm not inside the door and you are already asking me, and you smile. Yeah. And in the second, you wanted what?
Time for myself alone time, just to be by myself. And I imagined myself saying, okay, now I don't have energy for this. Ask me an hour later, for example, or tomorrow.
Okay. So how many can recognize themselves similar to what Willy talked about? Yeah. And are there anyone who wasn't so polite? I wouldn't be if it was my gray day. You can look at David. He knows. But I mean, okay, because you're still in a way polite, or in a way, whatever, respectful, saying, I'll ask me later, I cannot now. Yeah. Were there anyone finding themselves that you in a way were shouting back, or no, not now, or typical you, I'm not inside and you are already? Anyone recognize that besides me? Okay. Were there anyone who almost got numb or like paralyzed or no?
I think, but with the first visualization, with the sunny day, it was very strange for me. My inner reaction was first like in shock, then stuck, then like speechless. Then came the anger in me. So I'm coming home so happy, and and the difference between the two different days was that in the first day I just stayed with it. I couldn't offer help, I couldn't offer support, or I couldn't stay smile, but I just stayed with it.
Mm-hmm.
And in the bad day I was like, shut down. Get out of here. I'm staying with me.
Okay, so that's an important difference. So in the second, and these are really good examples, because this is what the whole map is all about, to remind us that we are always moving, and what we come with is influencing what happens. It's not just what happens in the moment, but what has happened before that influence how I react, and with whom. So when you talk about shutdown, when we talk about nervous system, it's a nervous system that is overwhelmed. Too much, too fast, too soon, too little breaks, too little rest. And this we will repeat this. Yeah. So overwhelmed, but in the first, it was a bit too much. It spoiled the day you had, but you could stay. Yeah. So some more, we can take one more.
I can share because I have done this with you before, this exercise, and now it's another experience, but I remember last time when I was having the good day and I come home and somebody was shouting. I had this experience, like I knew it, that it like the good day disappeared, and it was like I was so open because of the good day that I felt regret that I was open, and I was attacked. And when it was the bad day, it was like I felt more prepared. It was not so sharp for me when I came back home. So, and right now I have another experience, like I came home and I was calm and I could bear the shouts, the bad attitudes towards me. And the opposite, when I had a bad day, I was more protecting myself. So I see the difference between before and now, but I remember that it was very difficult for me bearing the good day when I had something bad experience. If I'm clear, I don't know.
Yeah. So what you say is there was not so much glue, if we use that.
Yeah, it was
It
very
was that you
polarized.
could take it, but very, in a way, not so much, and it was away.
Yeah, it was very polarized. Polarized. Yeah. If yeah. It it was good and it could not be good, so everything became bad, even the good day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's very
Yeah.
easy. It's like it's fragile. It
Yeah,
can very
exactly.
easily be taken away. So
Yeah.
this will be one of the exercises. We will put you into couples to, and we will do it in breakout rooms. So this will be one of the exercises for the in-between to notice with yourself what happens and how fast it can go, like you say, Diana. I come here with a good day and just, I have these questions and I wasn't prepared. The good day is away. So this is not, of course, the person coming at your entrance. It's that there is really a program, a deep impact in us from early experience, that if there is something good, it can very easily go away. Or I'm even prepared that, oh, now I have something good. When will the bad come? That's often if we have had very hard experience in life. So these will be themes that we will come back to, but thank you for sharing. So I think this will be enough for now, that we hear the different reactions. Some can hold the sun and be there and say respectful, not now. So there is a respect towards the partner, like really, and there is self-support. I cannot do this now. And for some, it's all too much and being numb. And for some, it disappears. What happens? And then for some of you, it's even that it's more familiar and being more prepared with what I call the gray day. Yeah. So again, I call it sunny day and gray day, or good day, bad day, just to draw the attention to the background. This is what's happened around us. But what's important is really how we react, the figure, what's inside. And to show, which I think came forward very clearly, that is actually so much what happens. It's how we are affected. I mean, you all heard the same guidance and we heard different responses. And if we had time, we could hear from everyone. And there would be different responses regarding to your history or experiences and self-support. So this is one of the few exercises. There are some exercises, or it's really practices, that I keep repeating because it usually shows very fast, get to the core. So this means, as I see it, we cannot say that you are do, and you are not. It depends. What has happened before? Where am I now? Who is there? You can just shortly imagine if there had been a neighbor in the room and you saw the neighbor as you before you heard the question, would you have reacted the same way? Maybe not. I know from myself, when I can get this temper, if I saw the neighbor, I would certainly not shout back the way I said I do at times. So again, depending on the background, what's in the background, what and with me. So this is why this chart can work very well, because it's moving all the time.
And it's mirroring this, the nerve system, how to stay open and how it shrinked in, constrict. And that's what we are speaking about also.
That's what we are speaking about also. And now I think
where are what people? Yeah, I don't see them.
Don't see him now?
No, nobody is there.
I don't know. There's something.
Okay, there they are.
I don't know.
Yeah, everybody are here. What are you doing now?
I wanted to share. I don't know. I've done this so many times and it has never happened like it does now. So maybe I will try. No, let's do it differently. Now let's see, because there is one image I wanted to show you. I will tell it because if I don't manage with the new way. If you see on, if we take the map, what we are talking about, that on the sunny day, we are in the upper part, in the integrated or in the flexible field. Are you with me? Yeah. And then something comes, which we don't really want, but if we have enough energy here, we can stay up here. But if it's too much, and if it reminds us of something, we fall down. And it can go very fast. So then we are suddenly not at all, neither integrated nor flexible. We are very rigid. We are very polarized. Go away. I cannot now. No, not now. So this can go very fast. And this was what I wanted to show you. But it seems that I have got stuck in trying the same way.
We will exercise here for next time.
I think it's better that it seems like I shake up. Is it clear enough for you how fast it can go? I come and I am flexible, integrated. And even for my partner or from a child or a person I'm close to, something happens. And I can very fast, like on one of those children use, what you don't know what you call it in English.
A roller coaster.
Yeah, like a roller coaster, but you slide down and suddenly you are very black and white, or maybe even just chaotic. And it's when something in your nervous system, when it touches something, maybe you're tired of always answering what things are, or maybe you just want some come in and say, I had such a nice day. Yeah. And it can go very, very fast. And it seems like you've got it, because this is the main thing. So I will, before we leave, I will do it the old way. This we will go through. You have these pictures here and here and here. You have them all on your papers. And you also have this one that we go around all the time. Where
We
are
don't see anything. We don't see anything.
No, you don't. Oh, sorry.
So you need to share.
Yeah. Right. Now, actually, what I think is I'm too eager. I want to show you this. And now I don't have the most sunny day. Because I want to show you this picture and I want to keep the time because I want that we close as the time we arranged. And I know that for you, it's even a holiday. And I appreciate so much that you were willing to change from yesterday to today. It means a lot for us because we had some family things, yeah. So I have to say, okay, I'm sorry. I think it's much better that we now take a couple of minutes to have a nice ending. So I put you into breakout rooms where you will get a partner. Since you are 12, each of one will get a partner. And since you know each other before, I feel it's a good idea in Gestalt, where you always have to choose, that you are free from choosing and that the breakout room will choose for you who you will be with. And if it turns out to be impossible for whatever reason, because you have histories from before, then we have to change. But is it okay that we do it this way?
And I think also it's important to maybe to say that the recording is not, I don't know if you have to stop it, but the recording is not in the breakout room.
You can
So
set it on pause.
yeah.
So I will put you into breakout rooms, and we are really at finishing time. We just wait for people to see if this works out. And I will send you a mail about the homework so it's clear.
Great.
I usually do, even, yeah, because it's easier to have it when you see it. So is it easiest as I send it to you, or can I have the mail list and send it myself, which would be best?
Whatever you prefer, I have the mail, I can do it, or I can send it to you, whatever you prefer. Yeah.
Yeah, and we also, you stay a few minutes after we stop.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you're all back. So I just want to check out, does it work with your partner? Yeah. I mean, there can be different reasons. You don't have, if you want to change, you don't have to tell the reasons, because I mean, you have sometimes, yeah, we want to change, but it seems that it does work with you. Okay. So I will send you a mail, and I just repeat now that you share this, you can share already this that we did today, because there is an important part of your life story in your reaction, even if it was just imagination, because you know yourself. And then you share similar moments that happens with you or with your client. But start with yourself. It's always better to have it in oneself. And then you can share about just experiencing from the different fields or questions you have. You are also welcome to write directly to me if you have some questions, so then I will put it in as we go along. Yeah, so I'm not wanting, we don't want to put a lot extra work into, yeah, Diana?
Judith, I have a question. How much time do we need for our meetings with our
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know all of us have a long do-it list. So this is just, you know, when you cook in the kitchen and you have something a stew that takes some time, you put it there is some heat on, and then you do something else. So this contact with a partner is to keep the heat. So it's not off, on, that there is some going on. So I would say at least 10 minutes each, 10 minutes a quarter each, so a half an hour. And then if that's too much, 10 minutes each. And if you're in a special life situation, so that doesn't work, you have to find out. But that's my recommendation. So you need to say something. 10 minutes is not so little if you have your time. And each has a time. First one speak and the other one listen, give some feedback, and then the other one speaks, and then you can talk about what was common or a dialogue. And if you want to add more time, it's up to you. But this is what I will write in my mail to you.
Did you say how often?
And once a week would be a good idea, since we have about 1 month. And I know there are these holidays. I'm not sure whether you have the Christmas holiday same or if it's later on, but there are holidays. And even in Corona, the wheel of holiday is just going round still. luckily. So if it's not exactly, there will be no examination and you will not be criticized if you don't follow exactly. This is supposed to support your process. So I give the guidelines and then you can moderate so it suits you, both of you. Okay. So just say one word each before we leave.
Thank you.
I'm grateful.
I'm
grateful and excited.
My word is commitment.
Mine is curious.
Grateful, me too.
I didn't hear.
Grateful, grateful. Yeah.
Curious second time.
Excitement and thank you.
Bonding.
Curious and thank you. Curious also.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Didi?
Yeah, I don't know what to say because I have so many words in me right now. I feel relieved mostly and very grateful for this opportunity.
So has everyone said? No, not.
Thank you very much. It was nice online training. Happy to meet you.
You? So is anyone lost still? No. So I will say like this, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And looking forward. We are on a diving in, diving out. So have a nice weekend or a nice week. Rather, the weekend is not so much left. Have a nice week. And thank you for the 7 extra minutes. So you see, I have an intention, but I cannot always live from it.
So see you next time.
See you next year.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
See you next year. Yeah.
Happy holidays.
Bye-bye.
Good
Bye.
holidays.